Hello, my friends, families, and colleagues. There is always some craze about something, and lately, again, people are being very nervous about nanoparticles. Just nanoparticles. It is, again, as I say, it's way more dangerous or inconvenient to know a little bit than not knowing anything about things that create fear. And I believe that this fear against nanoparticles is actually the fear against nanotechnology, the nanobots which are used to invade our bodies. But now people hear nano and wow, big problem. And one of them spills now to nanosilver, nanoparticle silver. As you very well know, I am a big proponent of nanoparticle silver. Now I'm also encountering some people that used to talk well about silver in general and the colloidal silver, and now they are backtracking. The reason is the blue male, and they're blaming colloidal silver, especially the nanoparticle colloidal silver, for this, and claiming how colloidal silver, they used to think it's a good thing because we know that it has beautiful effects on the body. But now it's also another craze connected with this is the heavy metal, silver, being metal, heavy metal. Wow, it goes in your body, you cannot get it out. It accumulates. And this is now blamed that this is what the blue man suffers from. Okay, so number one, what is a nanoparticle? Nano is a measurement. So anything, any element can be in nanoparticle size if it is small enough. And it is not the smallest particle, but it is smaller than supposedly atom. For example, gold in atomic, one atom of gold has 0.3 nanometers. Nano signifies size. Nanometer is a millionth, 1 million of millimeter. Millimeter is 1,000 meters. So we are talking about size, very, very small size. Well, what is interesting about this nano size? That we really cannot see things which are very small, because if the particle is smaller than the smallest wavelength, which is about 400 nanometers in size, we simply don't see it. We do not see vibration that is smaller than would create the size of nano of 400 nanometers. Now, this is also Soyence talking, not science, Soyence. Soyence is our interpretation of science. Why is that? Because we are being told that properties of elements are coming from the atomic value of the element. And we know that gold atomic value is 79. It's the 79th on a scale. Well, that means there's 79 electrons, 79 protons, and neutrons. Big number, high density, heavy weight. Yeah, but what happens when it's in monoatomic phase? In monoatomic state, which means when there are no clusters, it's all in one atom range. Then all of a sudden, gold is not this yellow heavy metal, but it's white powder. Now, again, how it could be white powder when atom of gold is 0.3 nanometers, and we cannot see anything smaller than 400 nanometers. So how can we even see the powder? So we are building the whole science is nonsense. This is like, well, it's Soyence. It's whatever you want it to be. Take a little soy together and you have your Soyence. But what we know, and my experiments prove it, that if you take, let's say, silver, and this is so now for almost all of the elements. If you take silver colloid, which means dispersed silver particles in the water, and if the particles are smaller than the nano size, the colloid is transparent. Silver colloid is transparent. You cannot, it looks like a clear water. And you expose it to the sun, and the color doesn't change. We know that silver, when it's exposed to sunlight, oxidizes. It turns dark gray. Now, and we know that there is a silver in this solution because you put it in your mouth and tastes metallic. So you have silver there, but it does not show properties of silver, because if you would expose silver to sunlight, it would turn this color dark gray, showing it as a sediment. Well, if you have silver particles in a colloid of nano size, all of a sudden, if you expose it to sunlight, it turns gray. This proves that many elements, silver included, do not have all their characteristics expressed until the size reaches nanoparticle level, nanoparticle size. We know that in quantum field, it's all about sacred geometry. So in a sacred geometry form, it creates such a crystalline form where every line represents particular frequency. And this form is building up, growing larger and larger and larger, and it is basically finished and assumes all the properties of this element once when it is in nano size. Now we know that the atomic values of elements are unimportant. They don't present what we are being told they present. Properties of element does not depend on the number of atoms, although we call them, okay, if number of neutrons is different than number of protons within an electron, this is distinguishing this element as being an isotope. Well, but it's different when you're talking about hydrogen. When it's in hydrogen, then if it's missing neutron, then it's atom, and if it has the neutron, becomes an isotope called heavy water if it's connected to oxygen. So again, even in the Soyence, we are breaking rules depending on how it suits us, and we are trying to make something without understanding really what we are talking about. And we don't understand it, obviously, because those are huge errors. Why I don't trust science or Soyence? Because the most important part of the science of the things considered is not included. And this is a quantum field, or spheric, or even frequency vibration. They're not included in this calculation. And everything depends on them. The whole reality of ours is created on a decoding, program decoding of electromagnetic frequencies. So if you don't use them in consideration when you are trying to create your science, you are pounding sand. Sure, this is all nonsense. Once when you start using the quantum field, when you start understanding the reality, everything changes. All of a sudden, everything is possible. Because nothing is set in stone. Vibration can be changed. So, when we are talking about colloidal silver, when it's in nanoparticle, the particle is large enough to refract the light. So as sunlight hits it, it will refract from the size of a particle in particular way that yellow color is going to show. Doesn't matter if you have a nanoparticle, silver colloid or gold colloid or copper colloid, iron colloid, they will all be yellowish. Because the color, again, does not come because of the atomic value of particle, but depends on the size. This is what's going to refract the light. If the particle gets a little bit larger, the color turns into brownish red, burgundy red. And now you know particle is too large. And again, it could be any of them. It's not distinguished and fixed only to a particular atom, to copper or silver or gold, iron, any of them. Same color, depending on the size. So, we are here blowing the whole science apart. And then we are being told that body cannot eliminate heavy metals unless we chelate them. Okay, well, I'm consuming nanoparticle colloidal silver that I make that will turn gray when I expose it to the sun. I'm consuming it for 10 years, but I'm not drowning myself in it. I need it for my gums, for my teeth, because they're terrible. Because this from time that I had no clue about the truth. And I had technicians making holes in my teeth, and I had Soyence telling me what I should eat and what I should drink, and I destroyed my teeth. So instead of going back to the mechanic to drill more holes, there's nothing much to drill anymore. You'll have to rip the teeth apart, and I'm waiting for the shift so I can actually regrow my teeth, rebuild them. So I'm using colloidal silver. And every night I take 1 or 2 sips. I'm holding colloidal silver in my mouth, and then I swallow it later. And often I do the same thing in the morning. And sometimes when I feel a strong detox and my throat is tingling and I cough, then I gargle with it as well. And I have it several times during the day. But always sip at a time. Why is that important? Because body will eliminate. It goes in the body, it does what it is meant to do. One of the things is it does increase electroconductivity of the tissue where it's being absorbed. And this is what also speeds up the healing process, which usually also takes down the inflammation, but not because it suppresses it, only because it speeds up the hydration process, and then inflammation is not important anymore. But then, since it is in excessive amount, body will take it out. And we know that body will take it out through basically urine. And then second stage is, if there's more to eliminate, through mucosal tissue. But if we are eliminating a lot, and you drink a lot of it, so now you are eliminating a lot, well, then skin will be involved also. And since our body is usually covered, only the face and neck, maybe hands, but hands do not sweat so much. Face, neck will sweat. So here you will have more silver particles being eliminated. And as they come to the superficial part of the skin and they get hit with ultraviolet light, they oxidize. And this changes their properties. And now they cannot really be eliminated so easily, because it changes properties. And one of the properties is also color. And to turn blue, you first turn a very light gray. And if this is not blue enough signal for you to stop, and you continue drinking big amounts, you have to drink big amounts, big enough, so your body cannot eliminate them only through urine and mucosal tissue. It has to also eliminate through the skin, through sweat. And then what changes color is only the parts exposed to the sun. So where you are covered, this is not going to change color. And then if you take enough time without drinking it, so it has time to cleanse, body takes it out, then you can expose yourself to the sun. I'm on the sun every day. Well, not every day, but quite often. And sun here, I'm in tropics, I'm in Amazon jungle. Sun is very strong. I'm not gray, I'm not blue, I'm nothing, because body is eliminating the surplus. Because I'm cleansing, I'm drinking plasma. I'm drinking water with sea salt. So my body constantly cleanses the blood and cleanses the tissue and eliminates. I do not accumulate. In 15 years, even drinking small amounts, if this would be cool at it, if I could not eliminate, I would be blue. I'm not. Okay, so we don't understand things. We just listen to stories, a little bit here, a little bit there. Oh, this guy knows a lot, he knows this. So I trust everything what they say. This is like with Ionis or Argenist has a big follower, and his fault because he's correct on food, on meat, eating meat, raw meat. Yes, he's correct there. So now they think he's correct on everything he says. And he actually has no clue about anything else except eating meat raw. He does not even understand correctly the metabolism and carbohydrates. He doesn't understand fruit, juices. No clue. Hydration, no clue. But because he's put on one thing now, all of a sudden the whole following is, wow, he's great on it. Well, we are like this because we are being lied to on every level. So when finally you find truth in something, who is the best liar? Is the one that tells you something that is truthful, gets your confidence. And then you start trusting anything they say. And I always say, don't trust me. Be smart enough to pay attention. And if you doubt or you want to make sure, do what I say, observe, and see what happens. Because we can only learn the truth on our own experience. Everything else is he says, she said. So be ready to try things. Not only blindfoldingly trust everything that you hear from particular individual that you trust. I'm a physicist, but I bet you understand quantum fields better than most school quantum physicists. Because as soon as they start gibbering about quantum field of where particles behave erratically, there are no particles in quantum field. So right away, you absolutely do not understand quantum field. If you mention particles, they don't exist. For particles, you need a robot, programmed robot that is going to turn the electromagnetic vibration into particles. This is what we do. So, again, the beautiful double-slit experiment. If you understand correctly, again, majority of quantum physicists do not understand it. I hear what they say. They are all guessing. And it's all wrong. Why? Because we completely ignore soul, spirit. We ignore quantum field. We think quantum field is like a sky with the stars, and those stars are the particles, and now, you take one star, you break it in half, when you put them apart, they vibrate, you change one vibration, changes the other. Oh, this is a quantum connection. They put all kinds of a name. It's nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing, because in a quantum field, distances don't really exist. It's unified field. And when you take something and you split it in half, well, you have two halves on the exactly same frequency. So if you manipulate the frequency in one part, since it is exactly the same, it is going to automatically shift it on the other part. It's called resonance. So, again, things are so simple if we take science away from it. We create science by trying to explain things as we see them. But then we don't take in calculation, the most important part, only because the scientific world tells us that what we don't see, what we don't feel does not exist. So what about pain? Well, nobody can prove it. This is why this is the best way you can lie. Oh, it hurts, I have to be home. But nobody can say nothing because nobody can prove it or disprove. But it exists. Phantom pain. You don't have an arm, but the pinky on that arm that you are missing is itching. and drives you crazy because you want to scratch it and you can't. How can it be itching when you don't have it? Well, because you ignore the one thing, and this is your body in quantum field. It never loses arm. It's always there. You lost arm in your reality because this is expectation, because of circumstances that happened that sever your arm. In the quantum field, this doesn't exist, so you always have this part intact. This is why you can always regrow it. But we say we can. Why? Expectation. Again, we know diddly squat. Why? Because we follow science. It's not science, it's Soyence. We are restricted. We are in a chains. We're not allowed to investigate on our own, to share our thoughts. Because you have to be in a scientific circle. You have to be academic to be able to do it. You have to be brainwashed to become part of this academic circle. This is why the future can only be good if there are no restrictions, which means complete freedom of everything. No diplomas, no licenses, no schools. Because what are they going to teach you? You want to learn something? Learn from within. You can be guided, but learn from within. Okay, my friends, so I just wanted to bring back again the nanoscience. People get hooked onto detail, and then this detail becomes a boogeyman. Nanorobots, and all of a sudden, every nanoparticle, all that, I don't want to hear. Nanocolloidal silver. No, it's nano, that's bad. Every element can be nanoscale. Same as with frequency. Whoa, EMF, terrible. Your whole body works on EMF. Whole body. How can it be bad? And body adjusts. There's so much confusion. Why? Because of Soyence. They put everything in little blocks, and then they tell us this block has nothing to do with this one, and this one has nothing to do with this one. But if you step out of these boxes and you look at everything as a whole, all of a sudden everything changes. Everything. And becomes simple. Well, we are awakening now. So, be ready to be confused. Because when the truth comes out, it's going to be contrary to everything you have ever been told. Everything is different. And if you allow your brain to absorb the new information and let it calculate, use the Google, think. But using the new information that counts, you will see the world in a completely different way. Okay, my friends, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Love you all. Namaste.